also can't believe that that agent just willy-nilly tweeted that to you. That's terrible.
Yeah, and when I read it, so when you're on social media and you're reading all about, or you're seeing the things that are happening in the publishing industry, and how
Hmm.
there's so much of toxicity, and
Hmm.
you have to be wary of so many things. That one tweet reinforced all of that. And I had to undo it. I had to tell myself, this is
Hmm.
not my reality. That is their opinion, because agents are human. But that's his opinion. His opinion doesn't have to be my reality. And I refuse to let it be. And I say this now, this has become my little soapbox. I
Yeah.
get out. I'm like,
No, I think that's
do not
amazing.
let anybody else affect your reality. Don't tell them, don't let somebody say, I can never become a trad published writer, because I am living proof that you can.
Hello, and welcome to So I Wrote a Book, Now What? Where writers chat about writing. My guest today is Arini Vlotman. She is the romance author behind the Femme Facade series. There is Pretty Average, Pretty Unexpected, and Pretty Bossy, all of which are out now from Conquest Publishing. She is amazing, and her story of how she wrote and published her first book is bananas. You're going to love it. Let's get right into it. Hey, Arini, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Nicole.
So, what made you decide to write a book?
That is the $1,000,000 question. And every time somebody asks me this question, I cringe a little, because my story is yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing.
Is it?
It was it was my 39th birthday, and it was just before midnight, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I not doing anything? Let me hit a short-term goal. Let me set a goal for myself. This
Mm-hmm.
just shows how little I knew about writing and publishing. And I said, okay, I'm going to write a novel. And I love romance. And I started writing it that very same night. It took me about a month to write. And I polished it, I researched, and then I submitted it. And that's my whole story. Like, I told myself by the
That was
time I
your
turned
short-term
40,
goal to write a book?
the audacity.
Short-term goal, I'm just going to write a book. I'm just going to whip one out.
I was so naive. Oh, I wish I could go back to 39-year-old me. And I said I was going to write it and publish it before I turned 40, which was a year later. And I just
Mm-hmm.
so happened to meet it. So, yeah, I'm quite lucky.
That's amazing. And was it a full-length book? How did you write a whole book in a month?
Wish I knew. I really wish I could just take that month and copy it into my life. But I write on my phone. And
Just
so I just write and I don't edit. So when I'm writing, there's nothing else going on around me. And it's just my world. And because I didn't know that much about writing and about the crafting process and about the plotting, and I mean, it was my first full length novel. I suppose it was just easy. I wasn't questioning myself until after it was done. I can't do that anymore. I wish I could. Otherwise, I would be publishing multiple times a year. But yeah, that's how it went for that first book.
So how did your process change then? Because it sounds like for the first book, you just went for it, like wrote it all out. Do you outline now before you start, or do you go in with more of a plan, or is it the initial process still the same where you just go for it?
Well, now I'm a pantser, so
Hmm.
I prefer to just write as it comes to me. But I've learned that I have to have some sort of outline or a plot. I write romance, so knowing my tropes is key, and what my
Hmm.
settings are, what my character development is going to look like. So I kind of like, just loosely flesh that out and write it in a journal or type it out on a page. But when I get writing, I just let it go. I let it flow. And if I find myself getting caught in the loop of editing, then I know that the story isn't right. And because it's very, very easy to go back and change this and then go back and change that. I mean, I could do that forever and not ever complete a book. It's like this really negative cycle where you like just one more thing and it's going to get better. Just one more thing.
Right?
So I don't do that. I try and get it all out before I start writing, and then I just write, and whatever happens, happens. Sometimes it doesn't happen so well. Other times I can write the end and say, okay, this is a good one. I just need to polish it.
Yeah. So what does your editing process look like?
So editing is intense because I write the first draft so quickly and I don't go back and change any mistakes. So I have copious amounts of errors, the grammar and the spelling and sometimes even the formatting. I won't even realize that my line formatting has changed or I've written chapter 15 as 1 5 instead of the full word. But I also try not to focus on that too much because if I do, and I think that's for all writers, if you focus on the nitty-gritty, you start losing the story. So
Right.
the editing process is I then read it and I plot it out. So this happened in chapter 1, this was a key scene. This seems a little bit thin. I need to flesh that out. This is total trash. Let me just dump it, cut and delete and all of that. And then once I'm happy with that, then I can move forward.
Yeah. Do you have beta readers for your projects?
Do not. And so many people have talked about beta readers that I feel like I'm missing something. But I don't have enough time. Well, I write it and then I polish it and then I submit
Yeah.
to my publisher. So I think I'm trying to go into the space where I'm going to plot a whole series out, my next project. And I think then I will probably get 1 or 2 beta readers just from people that I know like my writing and I trust. But no, I haven't. And I really feel like I'm missing out on a key feedback and constructive feedback point there.
It seems like it's working out for you, though. So I think you're okay. Because you're publishing with Conquest Publishing, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, I am.
And so when you finished your first book, your first month-long Madness book, did you then submit that to Conquest?
Yeah, I did.
And they were
They
like,
went
yep.
on a Yeah, they were. So the
Isn't
editor
that amazing?
No, right? Does this ever happen? I just
No,
like what
it doesn't.
what are the chances? And somebody
It's
I told them the
great.
story and they were like, the audacity. I was like, I know, in hindsight. I mean, I don't think would ever have had the guts to do it if I knew then what I know now. But
Totally.
Conquest was like, listen, this is a really good story. We will work with you to get it to the best possible version. But the story itself was good. They liked the writing style. And yeah, they worked a lot with me to polish it up and teach me the skills that I needed because I had nothing, right?
But it sounds
But
like you
yeah,
had a voice. So that's cool.
yeah, that's what the senior editor said as well. That because I write contemporary romance, so it's a lot easier to write, and because I read a lot of contemporary, I feel that it makes it easier for me to write.
Yeah, that makes sense. What are some of your favorite that you read?
Gosh, I read everything but crime. Um,
Mm-hmm.
So fantasy, sci-fi, all the romance genres you could possibly get. I just don't read anything that could possibly trigger me. So like the darker vibes, unless it like comes highly recommended from somebody I know and they tell me, Arini, you're gonna love this book. Then I'll pick it up. I've now since I've started publishing, I've got onto the indie author bandwagon. It's something that I didn't even know. Well, I knew it existed, but not to the extent that it does now. Like all the books I read now are indie authors, and quite a few of them I had actually picked up and read before, like saw it on Kindle, and I didn't even know that I didn't know there was a difference. Authors were authors, writers were writers.
Right.
If I like the book, I like the book. But yeah, I like getting lost in a book. I like immersing myself in a book. And if something is too close to reality, I'm like, reality is not that great. I don't know. Don't involve me in real life.
Yeah, I can understand that. I go through phases myself where I'm like, give me all the thrillers. I need to read all of them now. And then something will happen in the news or something with life, and I'll be like, nope, it's just romances. It's just romances for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I completely get that. Like a psychological thriller, I'll look up from it and I'll look around me. I'm like, what is going on? There's something going on. Like, and I just, it sparks a thought. I really wish I could write a psychological thriller. That's something I need to focus on at a later stage, because there's so many things that get you thinking.
Mhm.
Psychological thrillers are one of them.
Definitely, for sure. So when you write, do you always write on your phone?
Yeah, I do most often. And it's a mental thing. I associate my laptop with my day job, like work.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my day job, and I don't have like stress or anxiety or anything from it, but it just like sticks me a little bit, and I just feel like I'm boxed
Right.
in. Whereas outside of my laptop, so any other device, a tablet or my phone or whatever the case is, it just, my thoughts flow freely, the creativity comes through, and then when I get my laptop, it's for the editing phase, and then like,
Ah,
to me it's work, right? So that's work, whereas writing is fun work. And I know that it's mental, and I know that I do it, but it's not hurting me right now. So eventually, maybe I'll get one
Debbie
of those
Jimenez
strands.
wrote all her books on her phone. She just recently made an Instagram about it. She wrote all her books on her
Really?
phone. So I don't think it's a bad practice. I don't think it's something you have to change if it's working for you.
Yeah, it is working. It's just that mental thing that just keeps me tapped into creative mode. It's funny how we trick
Yeah,
ourselves sometimes.
totally. Do you have a certain time of day that you write, or is it literally whenever you get the chance?
No, I'm a night writer, and I've developed that habit because in the evenings after my son is in bed, and family is all done and house is clean, supper is done, those hours from like 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. ish is the best time for me. And I've had enough time from the day job to kind of relax, and I read a little bit in between, and then I get into writing. A morning person, like I have so much of energy in the morning, but I can't focus on writing because I have too much energy. I want to do this and then I want to do that. And I can't actually just sit and write. I've tried it. And I've tried doing like I've seen lots of writers say, oh, they were sitting in the car and they wrote this scene. I was like, oh, how do you do that? There's like people walking past you and there's things happening out the window. How do you do that? I have no self-control.
It's funny. Well, that's so interesting. I'm very much like a morning writer, and I don't know how night writers do it because at the end of the day, I'm like, nope, the brain's not there. Like, it's a struggle even to pick something on a streaming service. Like, that takes a lot of mental energy for me at the end of the day. So I'm always so impressed when, like, is it, I don't know, is that just when your creativity sparks?
No, I am the type of person, the placebo effect? I
Mm-hmm.
can trick myself into believing something. So if I
Mm,
tell myself, you can write better at night because it's best for me to write at night, it's quiet at night.
yeah,
I have the
yeah,
most undisturbed time. I just started writing at night, told myself that was the best time to write, and then I started writing. It sounds it
that's
sounds
awesome.
contradictory, but it works.
I think that's amazing. I think that's great. What else could you trick your brain into doing?
Getting
The
published in a
possibilities are
year.
endless, right? You have
It
great
is.
mental, like, manifestation abilities.
I like to think that that's my superpower. I tell myself I'm going to do something, trick myself into doing it, and then I succeed. And afterwards, I'm so surprised. I'm like, I can't believe this worked every time.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. So you have 3 books out right now, right?
Yes,
Is that
yes, I do.
correct? When did the first one come out?
Last year, March. And then the second one was last year, November. It was a Christmas romance novella. And then I published the third one now in April.
That's amazing. That's a lot of writing. Do you write every day?
No, I really, really wish I did because I probably would get a lot more writing done. But I've learned that I'm project based. So I get the
Mhm.
idea, I write it down, I finish it, and then I need time to stew and do other things, read for pleasure. Like while I'm writing, I can't read because then I get distracted. and I'll be like we're talking about psychological thrillers, and I'm writing a romance, and then all of a sudden instead of writing contemporary humor, the the characters are doing some other stuff.
Yeah,
So I I write the
I've had
project,
that happen.
I finish it, I give my time some time to settle, and then I move on to the next one. I should be writing every day. I know everybody tells me this, and I've seen the results of it. I haven't reached that stage yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good or a bad to it. Like, I just don't think that's how some people work, and I think that that's fine. You know what I mean? I think some people, to have them write every day, would more tamp down the creativity, and like writing 3 books in the short amount of time that you did is a lot of work, and maybe writing every day would have like maybe slowed it down because it would have drained energy thinking you had to do it every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I think so as well. And when I'm not writing, I can research. I can go down
Mm-hmm.
the crafting rabbit hole, and I can read all the crafting books, and I can watch all
Mm-hmm.
the YouTube videos that I've been like piling up, and podcasts that I've been
Right.
piling up. And I can do it knowing that I'm learning more about my craft, but not feeling guilty about not writing and using that writing
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I have to compartmentalize it, and then when the creativity hits, I'm completely free, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. Let me focus on it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite craft book that you have read so far?
Don't know if it's a craft book, but it's a series of books. The Emotional Thesaurus by
Yeah, I love
Becca.
those.
I don't want to say her surname because I'm going to mess it up. But
I
she's
don't
got that
remember.
whole Becca Puglisi. Could be that.
Mm.
A
It could
friend
be.
like, oh Becca, I'm so sorry if you ever see this, please forgive me. But yeah,
Yeah.
a friend gifted me one of the series, and I read it, and I was like, this is gold. I wish there was more. And then I researched her and there was more. She's got so many.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I can sometimes just read it and think to myself, oh, this is a new word. I've never heard this word. And then I'll try it in context, and then I'll think to myself, I'm going to use this. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm going to use it. And then all of a sudden I write a whole scene around that one word. That's what she's done to me.
That's amazing. This sounds like you have a lot of ideas all the time. Where do you get your ideas?
So reading has always been my thing, like made my whole identity is reading from the time I was little. I didn't know it until I was much older. And because I read so much, it stimulates that part of me to create. And I can look at something and, be in a restaurant or think about something that happened years ago and think, oh, that would actually make a really good plot point. So it's from experiences, it's from ironically reality, as much as I try to avoid reality. I use it. Watching TV, like for writers, I think everything is a potential idea, everything is a
Yeah.
potential scene. And I just filter through it. And sometimes I write something down, like a particular color somebody is wearing or the color of their eyes, that I think to myself, okay, I need to remember this so I can figure out how to describe it at a later stage. But yeah, it's
Hmm.
just osmosis, creativity
Yeah.
from reality and experience.
So you decided on your 39th birthday to write this book. And then you did it. Where did you already have the idea kind of floating in the back of your head for the book? Or did the idea come once you decided to write a book?
Don't actually know, but I
Yeah.
don't
It's the chicken and the
remember.
egg.
Yeah, I don't remember prior to that night thinking about this particular book. Like I had plenty of ideas that I had written down, plenty of books that I had started writing and never ever finished. But this one, I remember, I still the first sentence I wrote is the first sentence that is currently in the book, in the current version of the book. It's the first sentence, and it just started flowing. But it's very related to age. So it was the way I was feeling at the time. um, like now when I read it, or somebody a reader is reading it, and they talk about something, I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. So it was all, I think, formed at the time. I wish I knew, so I could go back and just like bottle it up and use it again.
That's amazing.
Spray
You
myself with it every so
right
often.
spritz yourself. It sounds like so you wrote, and you have your breaks. But do you ever feel like stuck in your writing? Do you ever have an idea where it's like not flowing as well as you would like it to?
Yeah, plenty, plenty, plenty. And I think about this all the time because I'm like, why? Why did I start writing it? Why did I feel it so much that I invested 10,000 words and then like nothing? It's just like a tap, and I go and I write and I do 100,000 things that I think is going to get me out of that. But I've realized that whenever that story isn't flowing, it's because of my emotional space. It's my mental space. I lean towards mood writing and emotional
Mm-hmm.
writing. So if I'm not feeling it, there's nothing that I can do except get myself out of that headspace. But I have tons of stories that at the time was a really good idea. I mean, I feel like my whole life is that sentence. At the time,
Right?
it sounded like a good idea. And I keep it aside. And I'm hoping that maybe I'll go and read it again. And sometimes I read a story or something, an idea that I've written, or the 5,000 words, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Why did I stop? And then I'll think I'll come back to it. So hopefully, eventually, all those little pockets of words sitting all over my desktop will eventually become fully fleshed manuscripts.
Yeah. How do you get yourself out of the headspace or the mood? Like, how do you get yourself back into the creative mood then? Is it like project based? Do you move on to something new or do you give it space?
Reading.
Reading.
Reading will always get me into a writing mood. That's why I can't read while I'm
Mm-hmm.
writing, because all I want to do
Mm-hmm.
is read. I have like a list of my favorite books and my favorite authors that I know no matter how many times I read this book, it is going to get me out of my funk, and it's going to push me, and I will pick up that book and I will read it. But sometimes I'll just read anything. Like I'll play spin the wheel on my Kindle, just like
Uh-huh.
take it and read it. If I'm not reading, that's my first red flag. If I haven't read for a
Mm,
day or two, that's my red flag. I know that something is going on, and I need to work on it. Unfortunately, it takes me like 2 or 3 days or through 2 or 3 weeks to figure it out. I'm like, why am I not reading? This is a problem. What's going on? You'd think that I would get it, but no, no. Apparently, I sometimes that brain mentality of mine works the opposite way.
right. What's one of the books that you reach for that you read like over and over and over?
Um, I don't know if you know Patricia Briggs. She is an urban paranormal writer, and she writes. She's an American author, and she's got this world based on Native Americans and folklore, and she's also got German heritage in there, so there's like a bit of fairies. But her author voice, her writing, every time I've read her books, her series, so many times, I can't, it's countless amount of times. But when I read her, every time I read it, I get something new. I get a new word or a new descriptor or a different, she moved her hand this way and I've been using this word or whatever the case is. And then the story pulls me in, and as soon as like 10 pages in, I'm raring to go.
Right. That's awesome. I am a huge rereader of books, and it's just nice to know another rereader.
Yeah,
Because
it's just,
sometimes it's just what you need.
you know what you're getting, right? You know
Hmm.
what you're going to feel, and you want that
Hmm.
comfort. Like my husband does not reread a book. It's like, you are how
Hmm.
old? Why are you wasting your life on new books all the time? Do you know the amount of investment that takes?
Right? Yeah, and also I feel like if you reread a book, like as a writer, you do get more things out of it on the second, third, fourth, fifth time than you did before. Like dissecting the way the story moves, and like you said, like the descriptors and the way they use those words. And I do think I can get more of that on a reread than on a first read because I'm so focused on the story on the first read because I don't know where it's going to go.
Exactly. And you just want to keep turning the page. Sometimes I end up skimming through because I want to read what happens next and what happens next. And I know that it's a good book, but the reread, I can pause and say, oh, actually, I was lazy reader here. I was just skipping through there. This is actually what happened, and that chapter makes sense now.
I can't skim. I've tried because I think it would make some of the reading in my life easier if I could figure out how to skim. I can't do it, and I completely lose the plot, and then I have to go back and reread whatever I just tried to skim. So it takes me like twice as long if I ever try to skim something, is what I've learned.
That's I've actually heard a lot of people say that, and it messes with them to skim because it's that I'm missing something key, which you probably are, otherwise the writer wouldn't have written it. But I wish I could not skim because I am missing out. I am missing out, but I can't help myself. Like I said, I've got zero self-discipline.
Are you working on anything new now?
I am. So I've got this the Femme Facade series, which is the 3 books, and I'm working on the 4th one at the moment. I really struggled with this one, so I have rewritten it probably about 3 times, and in the past month or so, it's been flowing. I've written probably about 70,000 words from I think mid-June, and I'm hoping that by this weekend I will write the end. And I'm really excited about this one because it's challenged me. Sometimes I wonder, why are we doing this again? Like, what? What is going on here? Why is this so challenging? But it's all different tropes that I'm writing, and I'm trying a different take on the romance tropes that we are very used to, which I don't know if it's such a good idea. Either this is going to be one of the greatest books I've written, one of the biggest risks I've taken. We'll see when I submit.
Amazing. So when you say you've rewritten it 3 times, do you mean you've rewritten it from scratch or like pieced together, rearranged, rewritten
Yeah.
that way?
So the first time I wrote about 40,000 words, and I was like, this is nonsense. This is absolute. Let me put it aside.
Hmm.
And then I liked the characters though. So my current series is all of centered about the female main character, and she's usually overcoming some sort of label or something that she's given herself or she's experienced. Like it's pretty average, pretty bossy and pretty unexpected. So the my current book, this female main character has something that is really relatable, but also very difficult and very controversial to overcome. And it made me
Mm,
feel uncomfortable writing it because some of her values are not mine. And I had to
yeah.
stop and say, you can't write this. Just because you're writing it doesn't mean. And we do this, right? I know that
Yeah.
it logically I can, but there's this just a little tight feeling that I get in my chest, and then I have to stop and say, Arini, come on. What are you doing? You know this is a fictional character. Separate yourself from the art.
It's so hard to do though.
It is like
It
every
is.
time I write one of these scenes where she does something so ridiculous, I've got this little mark here because I keep on scratching.
Well, it sounds very interesting and you're almost done. That's amazing. So then do you submit it to Conquest? Do you have an editor there that you work with for all the books?
Yeah, I've got a senior editor, Brittany. She is amazing. She's really mentored me quite a lot in my writing journey. And usually, when I have an idea where I know I'm going to see it through and I want to submit it, I'll let her know just that I've got this idea. Can I submit it? And just letting her know that I've got something. It makes me feel like I'm accountable, even though I mean, she's probably getting hundreds of submissions, but I just let her know. Listen, I'm working on something. So once I'm done, I will just read through it, just look for glaring errors, and then I'll write my synopsis and my blurb, and yeah, off it goes. And then she'll let me know whether it's something that she wants to work on.
That's very cool. And with your first book, did you ever query that book or did you go straight to like the small presses?
Also, when Conquest was the only
The only
publisher,
one? How did you find out about it?
so I did a lot of research. I deep dived into the different types of publishers and obviously agents. for that whole month that I was writing, when I wasn't writing, I was checking out what's going on, and I found a tweet by a friend who was from an author, and Conquest was in it. And I went to their website, and I had a whole list, like a Excel spreadsheet with lines and lines and lines of agents. And but I thought, let's go to the small press. I probably would work better with them. And they had they talked about diverse stories and diverse authors. And I had tweeted about this work in progress that I was while I was busy writing it, and somebody responded. He was an agent in New York, and he said, "Nobody's going to read BIPOC characters in South Africa." I was like, oh, really?
Excuse me,
Wow.
sir. Nobody asked for your completely unfounded opinion.
So that one tweet, I deleted it because I couldn't see
Yeah.
it. But as soon as I saw their website, and I was like, okay, they're looking for me, and I'm looking for them. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
let me shoot my shot. And I did. And then when they emailed me, I was convinced it was a scam.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I bet.
I
How
was
quickly
convinced.
did they get back to you?
It was about a week and a half. A week and a half
No,
later. And
that's
because
so
of that,
fast.
somebody was telling me you should write a book about your experience
You
and all the
should. Although
shots that I took.
people wouldn't think it was believable. They'd be like, that's completely unbelievable.
Exactly, it's absurd. And right now, I
Yeah.
mean, I still can't believe it, and I'm sitting with the contract. But when she
Yeah.
emailed me, it was the big time difference between South Africa and the US. And it was like
Yeah.
first thing in the morning, it was like 5:30, and I didn't have my glasses on, and I see Conquest Publishing. I'm like, stop. Wait. I put on my glasses and I read it. And I was like, I fell for a scam. Like, I know better. But I read it and I read it and I
Right.
read it, and I passed my phone to my husband, and then I phoned my sisters, and I deep dived into them again. And then Brittany was like, you know what, let's have a conversation. Let's chat. Let's see how it goes. And I was like, this is a real person. She's an
Wow.
actual person. I had to
An
convince
actual real
myself that she
person.
was real.
Yeah. That is so amazing.
It was so much of fun. I still think about how exciting that time was, and it still is right now. Like, there's that anxiety, but there's that anticipation. And I can't ever take for granted the relationship that we have. And I know that I want to broaden my publishing scope a little bit and go to different houses. But that first experience, there's nothing that can ever replace that feeling and the series of steps that happened to get me to where I am now. Like, it can never be emulated. We can never do it again. And I still have that feeling. Like, sometimes I go to that email and I'm like,
Yeah.
this was actually real. Arini, it is not a dream. You are not living in Days of Our Lives.
That's amazing. And I also can't believe that agent just willy-nilly tweeted that to you. That's terrible.
Yeah, and when I read it, so when you're on social media and you're reading all about, or you're seeing the things that are happening in the publishing industry, and how there's so much of toxicity, and you have to be wary of so many things. That one tweet reinforced all of that. And I had to undo it. I had to tell myself, this is not my reality. That is their opinion, because agents are human. But that's his opinion. His opinion doesn't have to be my reality. And I refuse to let it be. And I say this now, this has become my little soapbox. I
Yeah.
get out. I'm like,
No, I think that's
do not
amazing.
let anybody else affect your reality. Don't tell them, don't let somebody say, I can never become a trad published writer. Because I am living proof that you can. There are hundreds of us, thousands of us out here that take that shot, and we get it done. And don't listen to that one random person who says he's been doing this for 20 years, but has been doing it the same way for 20 years. So I'm off my soapbox.
I think that's amazing. And I think that's such good advice for so many parts of the publishing industry, because it's so easy to be swayed one way or the other, to let people's opinions like affect your reality and change your reality. And it's so true. You really need to to kind of stake your claim to say, this is the story I want to write, and this is the author that I am. This is the way I'm going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people, well, no, let me not say a lot. A few people told me, it would my books and my characters would probably be more marketable if I had changed names or I changed settings and I was like, will it? There's a certain amount of because I write commercial romance. I wrote with that intention. As much as I just like just went for it, but I also knew enough about writing to know that what do readers like and what is going to be out there. But there's certain things that make the story unique. It makes the story the story, and changing things and making it more commercial for whatever reason. Where's the value in that? And do you really want to go down that road? Do you really want to go down that road? And if you do, perfectly fine. What do what needs to you need to do to make you happy. But if I'd listened to those people and I'd written the next story to be a little bit more blanketed, if I'd wrote it in a fictional country in the UK or a state in the US or wherever the case is, whatever is now popular, it would take away elements of the story and then it wouldn't make it the story that it is right now.
Yeah, so true. So are your stories not set in a fictional place then? Is it in a real city in South Africa?
Yeah, yeah. So the first one, Pretty Average, is in Johannesburg. It's actually where I stay, and it's based on the streets that I drive in and that I've taken the bus on and I've sat in a taxi on, and I've got friends all over there. Because you write what you know. And for years and years and years, I've been seeing the city and these streets and these settings. And sometimes I see them on Instagram, like, wow, this is really good. I should go to that area. I was like, why don't I write it? So yeah, it's all set. The series is all set in South Africa. It's all places that I know of or have been to, and I can just like pluck it out of my imagination and put it on paper.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I think that's wonderful. And then after you have all the books for this series planned out, do you know how many you will write in this series?
Do not.
You don't have to.
Did not know it was going to be a series until I got
It was a surprise.
at my publisher to like about 6 months down the line, and a lot of readers were talking about characters, and they're like, well, is this character going to get a love story? And my publisher was like, well, what's happening? And I was like, I don't know. Alone. And then I started like researching series and all of that. And so each book is a completely different couple that we haven't seen before, but the settings and the characters are intertwined, and I'm having so much of fun with these characters, and they have like such a big scope. I could do anything with them, but I don't know if I don't know what I've got planned. That's the answer. That's the simple answer.
You'll see. It'll come to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing this. I just think that your story is bananas, one, but just so amazing. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Yeah, to everybody who's watching this or listening to this, I love connecting. I really, really like connecting with people. So please feel free to connect with me. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. I am as blabby on there as I am right now, and I like hearing your experiences. So yeah, everybody can follow me on Arini ARINI_author. But I like connecting with people, and writing has opened up a world that for so many years I didn't know was possible. That community, that bookish community, that because I always thought reading was isolating and writing was isolating until I got to these platforms and into these communities. And no, I have like I think in the last 2 years I've met more people than I've met in my whole life put together. It's insane. I love it.
And I'll link all of your stuff too, and all of your books and all of your socials so that you can connect. Thank you so
Thank you. I
much.
appreciate it.
Okay, I'm gonna hit.
I am so impressed with Arini. Just her, not only her determination, but her kind of like manifestation powers of like setting the goal to write a book, writing the book, publishing the book. I just think it's so amazing and really just inspiring. So I hope that you are also inspired by her publishing journey. Um, right now in this podcast, I'm moving to bi-weekly or possibly pop-up episodes. I'm publishing a couple books this year, 3 books this year, and it is melting my brain a little bit. So to make some space in there, they won't be weekly episodes, but I hope you still tune in, and thanks for being here. Bye.